Hello and welcome to episode 45 of Down Under the Ring podcast. I am your host, the Warship, and it is just like the WWE with a brand new era. Welcome to the live era of Down Under the Ring. Today, we're going to be covering Netflix, the Raw debut, Rhea back on top because Mummy is always on top, and a whole bunch more. Phid, how are you doing?
Good, man. It's good to be back. We've taken a break for about 4 weeks. I think we've been away.
So long.
It's been almost a month. I was just having a look. The last episode we did was the episode with Buddy Matthews, and I believe it was just after Survivor Series. So that tells you how long it's been.
It's been a bit of time. Like it has been a bit of time. We have been flat out between the Christmas break and honestly just life, man. It's been one of those things. It's been crazy. I have to move house in like 2 weeks. Still don't have a place yet. Maybe live on the streets. Maybe live in a cardboard box. Who knows? And
in the next month or so, both of us are traveling interstate to Brisbane for completely different reasons. One for wrestling-related reasons, one for not so wrestling-related reasons.
Not so much, because someone's going to Knotfest. Give you a hint, it's the guy with the dreadlocks.
Well, the thing is, if you'd gone to Knotfest like 2 years ago, it would have actually been a wrestling event because they had the NWA there.
They did, and a bunch of my mates wrestled on there, but I was unfortunately not good enough to go because my neck was broken at the time. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to make up for it really soon. Yep. So, this is a big one. It's been a bit of time since we've really got around that. We've barely spoken as well. Like, we talk as much as we do, which is usually quite a bit. But lately, it's just been... Yeah, things have been crazy.
We've been busy boys.
Busy stuff with a lot of stuff that's actually super cool as well. Yeah. I know the wrestling, the gimmick of like, brother, good things are coming, hashtag stuff in the future, all that stuff. But we got some pretty cool stuff on the horizon. So
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, one of those things being next month in Brisbane, we're really looking forward to being at AEW Grand Slam Australia. Mm-hmm. If you check out our content on TikTok and the Red app and everywhere else, we've lots of interviews that we've done so far with a whole bunch of AEW superstars over the last few months, and also if you go to Fightful. You can check out our content on there as well because we've been doing a lot of work over the last couple of months with Fightful as well. Thanks to the homie Sean Ross Sapp for that, he's been massively hooking us up with some viewership on his platforms as well, on their platform, sorry.
It's been really, really cool. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's been super, super interesting. And I'm really looking forward to see where it goes from there. So it's a little bit of the old, watch this space, I think, for all of it. But there is a lot of good coming out of the next few months, particularly as it relates to things that we're going to be able to offer you guys. We just had to get through this long period of not being able to do very much. But it's okay. We've sort of survived on the stuff that we've been doing previously. It's not been as bad as it could have been. That being said, we do hope to remove all sorts of, like ridiculous breaks from here. It's just a matter of, I'm away for 6 weeks. I don't have to work for 6 weeks. So my entire schedule is just bollocks at this point. I don't need to be anywhere, but for some reason I still not do anything. It's like you don't need to go anywhere. So I go to the gym and I meal prep and I go sleep. And that's all I've been doing, it feels like. When it comes to stuff, I think having that routine back down will be really, really good for it too. Plus, you and I, we've got like a 3-hour time difference because of daylight savings right now, which is way worse than normal. Because usually it's
we're
only
about a 2-hour break. Or
So it's just garbage right now. But, we'll get through it. And one thing as well, we've got to talk about it because it's like the biggest news. And I honestly think it is the single biggest thing to happen in decades of wrestling. We got to talk about the Netflix thing because, man, I have to say, when I got in and I started Netflix up and we got in and we watched that debut episode of Raw, I was blown away. The quality of it, everything about it. I was talking to you about this and we said they really did take the Jake Paul fight with Tyson and they said, right, we're just going to run this as garbage as possible. We're going to find all of the things that's wrong with our live service.
I feel like the Jake Paul fight was the beta test for WWE Raw, right?
Because 1,000,000%.
Because when they went live with Raw, that first stream was flawless. Like,
yes.
I would actually argue that the bitrate and the quality was higher than it was when it was on binge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I don't even think it's close. No. I do not think it's anywhere near close.
I used to get buffering issues on binge, and I'm not getting that on Netflix.
Yes, no, I'd get them all the time, and like really stupid ones too, like where the whole service would just kick out and go to like the black screen, like not even just like but like full on get out, get the out completely. I don't want to do any of this.
Yeah.
So, and another thing, obviously, that's really cool about it is the live subtitling, crowd booing. Love that. Love to see it.
Oh, mate, that live subtitling is brilliant. But this actually, there's somebody just raised something online, which I think I hadn't really thought about the live subtitles until today, which is today we had
Penta. Just Penta in WWE.
Yep, it's just Penta now. I was going to do the whole name. But we had Penta's debut, and he was speaking Mexican naturally, or Spanish on the broadcast. And with the AI live subtitles, it was translated.
Yeah, which is wild and awesome.
And it means that he can be him, right? And it's the same when it comes to Io Sky, when it comes to Shinsuke Nakamura, who I think has been way better since he's been speaking Japanese predominantly. He's so much more intimidating. The way he's been presented recently has been awesome. Yeah. So them not having to try and fumble over attempting to speak English makes them better.
Oh, look, 100%. And the thing I think as well, as we move into accessibility, it's really, really important because now we have people who can't hear. We have a deaf audience who can't hear. All of a sudden, completely opens this up for them. Not in a way where they have to kind of figure out what's happening and any of that. It's like you have live, instantaneous like captioning there, so you can see the action completely. And it opens up such a big world. And obviously, like different languages, all that kind of stuff. Man, this thing, we're week 2. This thing, you give it a year, it's going to be a monster. And
100%.
It's crazy how different this makes it.
Do you know what I'm most excited about with the Netflix thing?
Tell me.
Is over the last couple of years, we've seen, since WWE's got its crap together with becoming a better product over the last couple of years, we're seeing an influx of new fans recently, right? Especially, I would argue, Rhea Ripley has brought in a heap of new fans on the girl side of things, female viewers, because the amount of girls that I knew, like, who have come up to me and said, "Oh my God, I watch wrestling now," because I saw this chick Rhea and she's amazing. Right. So we've already had that influx. What I think is cool is the Netflix deal is going to make it even more mainstream, right? Yeah. And we're going to see more people getting interested in this nerdy thing that we've been interested, me, for the last 35 years,
Yep. And look, fully agree too. I think it's opening up Netflix right now. The shows they're not really watered down, but we're introducing now wrestling to a whole different generation of people. And it's not just like the next generation of kids, it's everybody. It's all the people who didn't give wrestling a chance, but now it's on Netflix and everyone's got Netflix, so why not get in,
Here's another point I want to bring up. You just brought up it's going to bring in like a whole new generation of kids, right? Now, remember we spoke a few months ago about Logan Paul and how the goal with Logan Paul was probably to bring in those Gen Z TikTok audience, right? Yeah. And I argued that it hadn't worked because my kids, who one of them was a wrestling fan when he was younger, one of them's never really been a wrestling fan. Yeah. All of them had seen the TikToks of Logan Paul and said, that looked pretty cool. Yeah. Zero interest in watching. Yeah. Both of my kids, during the Raw debut, saw Travis Scott and watched.
Yeah. Just watched the whole thing.
And that's the thing. Basically, from Travis Scott onwards, they watched it. So the Travis Scott thing, there was a whole bunch of people who have been arguing, is hip hop, should hip hop be the theme songs and blah 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 blah. All
Of
this, I can
course.
tell you right now, Travis Scott was a needle mover.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and that's the thing is that like having Fiend play on a WWE pay per view, like I say pay per view because that's what it felt like on
Yeah,
on a PLE, which is what it wasn't even that it was just on Netflix. But having Fiend play there is bonkers,
yeah.
bonkers, bonkers, bonkers.
I don't think it's wrong to call it a PLE because it did feel like a PLE that first
It
episode.
honestly super did, and that's the thing is even the second one here I'm feeling that same vibe. I haven't lost that vibe.
Yeah,
It's not changed for me yet, and that's
yeah,
a really cool thing because we're heading into a situation now where every episode of Raw feels special.
yeah.
Every episode of SmackDown feels special. Every NXT feels special. It's really, really massive. And that's what I was saying, the point that I was trying to make a little bit earlier, and in our conversation back and forth as well. I think this now moves the products further apart more than
Oh,
anything has done.
a hundred
Ever.
percent, 100%. Like, kudos, congratulations, AEW. I think it's dope that you've got this max deal,
Yep.
and I think look, the massive influx of money from the HBO or what is it, WBD, is going to improve their product visually, and they're going to be able to sign more talent and
Yep. It's all good news.
overpay talent and all that sort of thing, right? It's all good news, right? All good news, but bro, like the difference between those two products is night and day now.
Absolutely night and day. Like I said, we were in a situation where it didn't feel like that before.
Yeah,
Now it's unmistakable. Like
yeah.
it really, really is. And there's just no way to get around that.
And
I
you,
think
you can't even accuse us of shitting on
no.
AEW with that because it is just fact. Like, you watch Dynamite this week, or last week, and you watch Netflix Raw last week.
Yeah.
You put them on a TV side by side and tell me which one is the top show in the world right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, again, it's nothing, there's no knock on it because it's just what it is. And it's not being WWE fanboys or anything like that. It's just the truth of the
I
matter.
mean, look, if you ever, I don't know if you can see it on the TikTok feed, but I've got both the belts there, right? I'm a fan of both.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely a fan of both, but look, at the moment, I'd argue one of them is definitely miles ahead.
Look,
And it's just,
that's the thing. It really is, and it's not even to be dick about it. It's not even to to cause issues because, quite frankly, we don't care about that stuff. Like we want wrestling to be good. If wrestling's good, it's good for everybody.
yeah,
And look, I think it is. I think there's a lot of awesome stuff going on. The stuff with Cope and Mox is really interesting. It's all really good. Everything that I'm seeing from that side is really good. But Netflix is just the very next level. You want to
yeah.
talk about final boss shit? That's final boss shit. Like it truly is. And
That's an awesome point right now to go into what we saw on that Netflix premiere
Yes.
because match-wise, what did you think of the show? You
man,
don't
I
have to
thought
do a
it was
breakdown
awesome.
of each match, but
No, I was genuinely really really happy with the entire thing. Like there were I felt like it flowed better than like anything I've seen in a long while.
yeah,
Like I felt like the whole show had a flow to it. I feel like they want to win an Emmy, man. That's the thing. They keep
yeah,
talking about it, but they're putting the work in now to do that.
yeah.
And yeah,
Those what was it? I think it was 3 matches we got on that episode,
yeah.
I believe. So we had the Rhea match. Awesome. Finally, Rhea's got the title back. Now move on, right? Move on from
Opened with
Liv.
the opened with the bloodline thing. That was wild that we opened with that as far
I
as
was not
matches go.
expecting that, but look, debut episode, new viewers, you want to put a banger on, right?
We did hear that it was going to happen earlier in the day.
Yeah.
It was still a shock when it actually went down like that, I think.
Yeah. And
But
look, and it was a dope match.
it was actually a really, really good match. Surprisingly so, because I think Solo gets a lot of shit for not quite being where he needs to be. Man, Solo's improved so much over the last year. Like, so
yes.
much.
Yeah.
And, like, it was a good match. Obviously, it changes the dichotomy of the entire company now because you've got this situation where you've got, Roman's boys and now he's back in power, kind of. And then what does that mean for the future? Are we end up hating Roman Reigns again? What's the deal?
Yeah.
Like, so they've got to play it really smart. I have a very good idea of the direction we're going with it. It'll be interesting to see if it goes there or not. But I think that the current reported ideas for the way that we're shaping into Mania make a lot of sense. I think that we're in a spot where we'll get Cody versus Cena. I think we're in a spot where we're going to get Roman versus The Rock finally. I think that we're going to be in a spot where we get Punk and Seth and maybe Drew, kind of based on how things are moving at the moment. It's really interesting as we move forward towards Mania now and sort of planning out the next year's worth of content. I think that it's good, but I couldn't tell you, again, for the first time in a long time, I can't tell you who's actually winning the Rumble.
Well, we'll get to the Rumble later. I do want to talk about the Rumble, but there's stuff to talk about there later. Now, what I did want to ask you about was that main event, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Interesting that they held this for the first episode of Raw. Part of me was like, why didn't you wait for Mania for this? But look, you wanted to put on bangers.
Yeah.
And I would argue this is Punk's best work since he's been in WWE, that match.
Yeah, look, it was excellent.
In ring.
There's a lot of discourse on the internet going around saying that Seth carried him through the match. I disagree with that. Yeah. I think that it was pretty full on. I think the whole thing was fairly hectic. There was a couple of real good hits. I think Bully Ray might have pulled it up on it when he was talking about it last week, saying that there was a lot of like real stiff shots in it. And I can confirm, like they were throwing absolute belters at each other. That being said, though, the professionalism is really apparent. And we're in a situation now where I think that it's kind of tricked a lot of people. When Seth first showed up and he's swearing and all that stuff, when Punk finally came back to WWE, we had that whole thing. I think that a lot of people bought into the work. And I think from that point, we've kind of grown into that. He might not like him. They might not like each other for realsies, but man, they can work well together. And it was just an excellent, excellent match.
100% it was. And there's a whole bunch of different segments during that as well, but I think the main one that I really want to talk about, which is the weirdness of The Rock last week.
So strange. Like, so strange but at the same time, so you want to give a quick recap for those who didn't see, perhaps, and then we'll go into
Yeah. So we kicked off the show with Triple H coming out and doing I'm Triple H, look at me, I'm in charge of WWE, welcome to Raw.
Then was of course, awesome, by the way. I love that.
I know we all give him shit about it, but it was dope.
Yeah.
Then we had got The Rock come out, and The Rock came out to his Final Boss music. He came out dressed as the Final Boss. He did the Final Boss entrance with the lights and all that sort of thing. Then he got in the ring and became corporate stooge.
Yeah. Oh,
happy-go-lucky Rock, which it felt so weird after the last time we saw him was the 1, 2, 3 throat cut, right? And then all of a sudden he's out there shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah, weird. But, so here's the thing, is I got 2 points here. My first point is if I hear someone say, hey, Netflix, you're awesome, again, like...
that entire thing, yeah.
Every promo was that. How good is it to be on Netflix? Like, the whole thing was that, the whole night. Like, I get it. You want to appease the sponsors, but we can stop that now. I'm fine. We can get that and just put it in the bin.
Out of the way.
I don't want that. Yeah. The Rock, though, his entire persona is this whole, we're part of the Moana 2's just come out. The Rock is The Rock. You think about the first episode of SmackDown ever, The Rock show, SmackDown. I can understand why they wanted to bring him out as this, figurehead of representation of wrestling. He's the biggest star in the world, and you've got him on your wrestling show, and he's there to endorse it. I get that. But from this point onwards, it has to have changed. Thankfully, I think on Netflix we saw that, which is sorry, on the episode of NXT on Netflix, we saw that. On the first episode, we didn't see it on Raw. On later on, we did, but on the first one, he's like, "Oh, I love you too," and like, "Can I get a chee-hoo?" and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but then there was the whole thing with Cody where he was friendly with Cody and I'm going to have a drink with you and love you and you've done an awesome job as champion. And then after the match, he's out putting the Ulafala over Roman's head. And there was a bit of a look, but not enough to say that he was continuing the story on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you take that isolated event of the first episode of Netflix, it's weird.
Yeah.
If you isolate that and you just say, okay, I'm just going to pay attention to this, it's a strange shit. If you then go outside of that and get into a spot of, you look at NXT that followed on, you look at this week, it starts to feel a little bit better. But I really do feel like the reason they did it was to bring that real, like, flashy thing. It's like having a Hollywood star, except you grew him yourself.
Yeah.
So from here, we really need to start moving into that final boss stuff, because the Rock thing, it was strange, man. Like, it was just odd. And moving forward, if you're building to Mania, I was saying it, we were in the chat, and I'm like, man, I just want to see him break it. Just break the Ulafala. Like The Rock, when he grabbed it off of Heyman and he's like holding it in his hands like this, I was so sure that he was just going to tear it in half.
So what I was expecting was to go to lift it up, look like he was going to put it over Roman, and then put it over himself.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting. Because, I mean, essentially it has felt from the last 3 or 4 years, that's the story we've been heading towards, right?
Yeah.
Is The Rock is the real head of the table, because let's be honest, he is a genuine high chief, and he is the highest earner in his family, and he is the guy that hooks up the family with jobs.
Well, they did mention it on Raw. It was a very subtle thing.
No, I would say it absolutely was not subtle, because they put out social media posts, and then they mentioned heavily, and then he mentioned that he is the
High Chief
High
Sayuli.
Chief. And it's the first time that they've really made that canon, apart from when they showed the Bloodline family tree at the start of last year.
The part that I was speaking to for subtlety was the reference where it was only really quick. Michael Cole said it once, and it almost sounded like an accident, because he said that only the High Chief can wear the Ulafala. Like, he didn't say the tribal chief, he said the High Chief. So straight off the bat, that's The Rock. The Rock is the High Chief of the family now.
Correct.
So from a standpoint of like the family tree, Roman realistically should have handed it back.
Yeah.
Now, the reason The Rock's pulling his face is maybe because he knows that, and he knows that Roman knows that, but Roman's ego is getting in the way. I think that I would prefer heel Rock. I think we will get face Rock.
Do you think we're going to turn Roman back?
I think that Roman having everything he needs and wants right now, because it's all been all about
only thing he doesn't have is Solo and his bloodline.
And the championships.
And the championships, which he has said he's going after.
But what is he willing to do for them? And that's the thing. We've seen Roman be willing to do anything for them. Yeah. The Rock, on the other hand, we've seen him be willing to do anything to keep his family together.
This is true.
So I would prefer the final boss.
And that's actually the same argument that Solo has been making for this last 8-9 months, right?
The whole time.
It's, I'm keeping the family together.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's not, I hate you, Roman. It's, I love you.
He keeps saying, I love you. I've always loved you. In that match, he said that. I love you. I've always loved you. I just want what's best for us.
Yeah.
That's the entire thing. Even when he was cracking the shits at The Rock, Roman, in the match in WrestleMania, he's like, finish it for us.
Yeah.
Do it for us. You know, not for you, not for me. Roman,
for us.
Roman's insistence in being the guy and only being the guy, I think could lead to that. He's face as hell right now. Super over as a face. But where does that character go from here? Because he has everything he wants except for the things he needs. I
Love it.
don't foresee him being the face in that scenario because he's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, he's wrong. He's not right. I want to reclaim the Roman Empire. He was the worst. Everyone hated
Isn't
him.
it hilarious, though, that for years they wanted Roman to be the big baby face. I was going to say white meat, but it's not.
The John Cena. The John Cena.
Yeah, right. That's what they wanted him to be. And they've finally got that. And by the looks of it, going by what we've just discussed now, they're about to undo everything that they've always wanted.
It doesn't make sense to have him as the good guy in this. Subjectively, it doesn't make sense because he's wrong. In everything that he's done, it's all for him.
Yeah.
He's not a face if you look at what he's doing.
And look, and Rocky's not going to want to be heel forever because his outside of wrestling, his image is I'm a good person. I do amazing things for my family. I do amazing things for my community, and I do Disney movies. So he's not going to want to stay heel.
The only reason that he became a heel the first time is because he tried to be a face, and the crowd said, "No, actually, you're not part of this thing with Cody."
Yeah.
That's why they turned him. All of this, the entire amazing heel turn, was because it didn't work the way they thought it would.
Yeah, and they needed to do something.
And they did the biggest thing they could do.
Yep.
Now, moving
and it
forward...
was the right thing. It was the right
absolutely,
thing.
And it was awesome. That WrestleMania leading through all of that was excellent. But now, The Rock's got Moana coming out. He has the live action coming out. He's got a bunch of stuff coming out that he needs to put that face on for. Not to mention being the owner of like 14 companies.
And director of the board for WWE.
That's what they say. But
so what I was going to say is this now brings us to what I've been calling today the real Netflix debut. Because last week was the look at us, thank you Netflix. This is what we are. Wheel out the legends. We want to... All the faces are going to go over. Lots of feel-good moments. Welcome to this show if you haven't seen it before or if you haven't seen it in years. Come, be a part of this. Now, I said after last week's episode that it's going to be interesting to see where Raw settles. And I think we instantly went into that this week where we got a show which... closer to a normal weekly show. It's just a higher quality version of a normal weekly show.
It still feels like the volume's up to 50, though. Like,
absolutely. But it was story driven. It was introducing one new wrestler, but it was all just a wrestling show. It wasn't a Netflix wank fest.
And look, I have to say, in that debut, introduction of a wrestler, jeepers, it was so well presented. The whole thing was really good. You know what it reminded me almost exactly of?
What's that?
I want to see if you get the same thing. But it was Kurt Angle's promo before Cena. The whole thing was, come out here and give it your all. Unnamed guy, I don't care. It was Taz. It was the Taz promo with Kurt Angle at the Royal Rumble 2000. You know, it was my so-called unnamed opponent. Come out and give it your all. And like, it was straight up. That's the vibes I got from it.
Here's the thing that I got from it. And so, yes, absolutely, 100% agree. That's exactly the same vibes. But my biggest takeaway was, man, WWE is showing how to make these AEW stars look like superstars, man.
And isn't that the difference? Like... yeah, it's awesome to hire 40,000 wrestlers and have them come out, Adam Cole, baby, and then not give a fuck about them. It's one thing to do that. It is another thing to build these guys up like Punk. Man, if I'm Tony, I'm kicking Jack Perry in the face. I'm so mad every day. I'm a bury him
Well,
in the ground.
CM Punk's a really good example of how to use somebody who is a draw and not overuse them. So we haven't got him every week. We're not got him wrestling every week, which is a big part of it.
Yep.
But I'd say the most important part is we're getting him sparingly, and every time he's on the show, he's being used well. But then you've got Cody, right? Cody went away, became a star, and when he came back to WWE, was treated like a superstar. Not just a star, a superstar, a big deal right from the bat. And we're getting exactly the same thing right now with Penta.
Yep.
Penta felt like a big deal. And in
Legitimately.
AEW, when could you say Penta felt like he was treated like a big deal? He's always been an amazing talent.
Yep.
But he's never really been treated like he is a top star in that company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. And look, another one, perfect example there, Cody.
Yeah.
How different is Cody presented since coming in? And that is 3 names, pretty much the only 3 to come across, right, from my memory.
Apart from Ethan Page on NXT.
Even then,
but
NXT
even then,
champion.
he has been treated like an absolute champion as well.
Yeah, okay.
Been presented amazingly.
Name a person who's come across who has been treated like shit.
What's his name? Perfect 10?
Oh, yeah. Actually, Ty Dillinger. But
Because what's Ty Dillinger's real name? What's his name he's going by now?
I forget.
Yeah, but him, right? But that's the fact, right? He came over and we've hardly seen him. Sean Spears. We've hardly seen him since he came over.
That being said, though, they did change his entire gimmick. He was given this new character, was presented really well in the return with the whole chairman thing, and they referenced everything that he did up into that point, you know.
Well, he got to keep his AEW gimmick, essentially, didn't he?
But coming in at the time with everything that's going on the legal side of WWE with a character name like
the
that
chairman. That's
is going to cause
move.
problems.
Yeah,
I think we did see that. Yeah, I do think we said bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. I don't think it's going to. No. And that's the thing is that comes down to an insistence to do a specific thing as well, I feel. You know, and like Sean Spears is an awesome talent. And excellent.
Amazing. I know he's doing a lot
talent
behind the scenes as well. Like he's a trainer and stuff as well. Like he's been hired in a dual role with NXT, I believe.
And look, he might be happy with that too. And full love and credit if that's the gimmick and that's what he wants. That's awesome. I'm here for that for days. I've got no problem with talent finding what's at the next part, you know, after wrestling and things like that. I will say that I can't really think of anyone else though that has come across and has had a bad time.
But it's also WWE have picked and choose who they've brought back as well.
And that's awesome. That's exactly what they should be doing. They shouldn't be hiring everybody everywhere. But okay, so that was part A of the point. Part B of the point is on the other side of the coin. Name a talent that's come across with the same impact as someone like CM Punk, as someone like Cody Rhodes.
You mean going in the opposite direction?
Yeah, you've got Cope, you've got Bryan Danielson.
Cope, the thing, right? You've got Cope, you've got Bryan, you've got Ricochet. There's a whole bunch of big names that went over, but I mentioned Ricochet for a reason in this list.
Yeah.
Is Cope made a big impact and then went on to basically do his own thing, which hasn't paid off.
Yeah.
Right, you can
Getting
tell
better now, though.
But you can tell he's been driving his own storylines. Not everything has paid off.
Yeah.
Christian, I would say he's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
He's gone over there and done better work than he was doing in WWE.
I wouldn't say he's a come over from WWE though. I would say that he, at the point where he was coming out of retirement. Yeah.
Bryan Danielson has done amazing work since he's been in AEW. Nobody can tell me any different there.
No.
He's one of the few who's come over, made a difference, not just with what he's doing in the on screen, but behind the scenes as well. He's made the company a better place.
Yeah, no, I 1,000,000% agree with that too. For me, though, my query is, okay, you've cherry picked the best of the best that they've brought across. But what about everyone else? Cody isn't the best of the best that they brought across.
He wasn't the best in AEW at the time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Punk, I think, was. I think they fucked up real bad with Punk.
He was the top guy.
Yeah, I think I made a big mistake with Punk, and I refuse to be told otherwise in that situation.
All you have to do is look at the what Collision was before Punk and after Punk.
Yeah, exactly right. There's no arguing that. If you do, you're wrong.
All you have to do is look at how often we talked about AEW before Punk and after Punk.
Yeah, because it's again night and day. But again, straight away, those first two with Punk, obviously, I think was a huge deal. They didn't think so. But but Cody, they also didn't think so. Since coming across, both of them have absolutely destroyed all conceptions of them being, not quite good. You know what I mean? And that comes down to presentation.
Here's a question for you.
Go on.
Name me 5 top guys in WWE.
Any top 5?
Top 5 guys.
The top 5 guys?
Just any top 5 guys.
Okay. Drew, Cody, Seth, Punk, Roman.
Yep, there you go. Right. Name me 5 top guys in AEW. Top guys.
Mox, Cope, Danielson, MJF, Christian.
And that's the thing. One of those people is a part-timer now.
Yep.
MJF, I think he's lost a lot of shine in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
The bidding war of 2024 did not pay off, in my opinion. Mox is hit or miss recently. And Christian Cage and Cope, I would argue, are not top guys in that company.
Yeah.
I would say they're upper mid-card, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't think that they have the same level of top guys, and that's what they've got to figure out.
I think you're right. I think you're right with all of it because, you look at the difference there. The star-studded lineup that I firstly quoted, and I was not struggling at all to think of people.
No, it was you probably could have gone on and done 10.
Yeah, and the thing is that I think I just got overwhelmed by how many there are.
Yeah.
Because there's so many that I could mention that I just didn't even say. Like we got Gunther, we got Jey Uso, there's Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. There's lists, lists upon lists of people.
We are so sport for choice in WWE right now. It's like what it was like in the Attitude Era, where you had so many guys that if they weren't in that top range, they were so ready to come up.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Yet if you lose Roman right now, you've got someone else ready to come in.
There's so many people just waiting for dead man's boots. And
exactly.
That's legitimately the fact of it. And looking at it from that point of view, man, this wasn't supposed to turn into a dogging AEW thing.
It's not a dogging AEW thing. This is the point, right? This is not a dogging AEW thing. This is a...
That's a good point there. That's a real good point there, Jeepers.
Okay, are you talking about what we just saw in chat?
Yeah.
Okay. So in live chat right now, someone said do the same with the women's division. And that's a very interesting point because I think women's division at the moment is stacked in AEW.
But I feel like
that they're doing the better stories.
Could I name 5?
I think you probably could.
No, all right.
What,
could
Mercedes?
Come on, you said top people.
But this is the thing, these are their top people.
Okay.
Mercedes, what do you got? Mercedes, Saraya,
Tony,
Britt Baker, Tony, Willow.
Okay.
And Willow's, whether you like her or not, she's just fucking superstar. She's amazing.
Absolutely.
Statlander. They've got some amazing talent over there.
I feel like you could do the same thing we did with the men's division, though, that you did with WWE.
Yeah.
For top people, you've got people, so many people, and you've got 2 who are just itching to come back that even further the stack. Yeah. So there's so many there as well. And that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the issue I feel is that all over in every element, whether it's production, whether it's talent, whether it's the show itself, the storylines, the roster.
I saw an argument the other day, which I think the argument has some validity, which is The biggest problem with AEW is Tony Khan does not want to let go of the reins of control.
Yeah.
And I feel like what we've got, the issue we have right now in AEW, isn't a lack of talent, it's a lack of guidance, it's a lack of business structure.
Everyone getting to do their own thing.
It's well, here's the thing. I think a lot of people are allowed to do their own thing, but the people that aren't allowed to do their own thing are taking guidance from somebody who is overworked and barely sleeps.
Yeah.
Last time we had that, the dude was a McMahon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we spent 10 to 15 years complaining about the product.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think if now that he's got all this extra money from the WBD deal, what he needs to do is start setting up that backstage corporate setup, right? The structure in there, so he doesn't have to be the guy who's running everything. Because that's what I think, honestly, is what WWE has over them, is they've got years and years and years of building a company. They've got structure, they've got process, and while they may have overdone it in the past with control on what people can say and do on screen, I think they've wheeled that back a wee bit, which is why we're getting good product now. And I think they can find that, AEW can find that middle ground of still being a great creative place to be with creative freedom, but also having some structure and control and checks and balances in place to make the product better.
Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, like, far out, I've been saying it for ages, Tony, you're not Ash Ketchum. You don't have to catch them all.
Correct.
Like, you don't have to. It's not a shiny Charizard. It's, people who are mid-carders in WWE. You don't need to. And I know I've picked on him a bunch already, but it's Adam Cole. Honestly, you can tell me Undisputed Era, where was it better? Was it better in WWE or is it better in AEW?
Yeah.
Like, again, night and day. That's what it is. It's night and day. Now, it was not on our list, but we're about to see another example of all of this bullshit happen. I reckon in a few months' time. I reckon all the lights going to go out. We're going to get little candles everywhere, and old mate's going to rise up from the smoke, and Aleister Black is going to be back, and you're going to see, when Triple H is in charge of the company, what he can do. I'm genuinely excited to see Aleister Black. Genuinely.
100%. And here's the thing. I think going to AEW was the best thing that Aleister Black did.
At the time.
Malachi Black.
Absolutely.
Well, no. I think character-wise, because I think what he was doing in NXT was amazing.
Yeah.
But I think he's managed to go over to AEW and find himself more. I think the problem is he found himself more at a time where they were focusing on other things, and now it's too little too late for AEW. He wants to go back to where he can flourish.
Yeah, and look, honestly, he will a million times over. Can you imagine what they'll do with Penta and Aleister Black on a WWE show? Like,
I want them to run back Penta and Io Sky.
yes. But like, you look at the roster at the moment, man, Aleister Black easily. Yeah, all right, come on. Healthy Gunther versus Aleister Black for the championship. Give me that on some toast with butter. Bring
back Ilya Dragunov and put him in the ring with Aleister Black. It'll be an amazing run.
Incredible. I would eat that quicker than I would eat Vegemite, and I love me some Vegemite. I do. I would love to see. There are so many matches here. We're on the cusp of some awesome stuff. And it's not even a situation like I don't feel like I feel when we look at AEW saying, oh, they'll get everyone, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't feel like that with talent like this going back across. It feels special.
Yeah.
And because it is. I was talking, again, with tangents a little bit here today. We're already going way over where we should.
That's fine.
I got sent a video, and it was of Enzo and Cass, and it was like the biggest fumble in history. Can you imagine seeing them back together? I know Enzo's got his problems. He's got his demons, right? But
so did Cass.
Exactly right. But they had the episode where they couldn't, the house mics didn't work. So he
Oh my god!
pretended like he was holding
I recently watched that back, and they were so over that the crowd did everything for them. I
word for
completely
word.
forgot that.
They were so over
Yeah.
in every single way.
Well, there's a reason why, still to this day, Wrestle Talk call their followers the SWAF Nation.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? It goes back to them.
yeah. And like that's the thing is we're in a situation where like we could see a lot of these stuff like come back because right now that stink of Vince is slowly dissipating, right? We're slowly getting to a point where we're starting to see people. We saw was it Nikki Bella at the thing last
Yeah,
week.
shock and horror. The last time we heard from her in relation to WWE was they walked out and ripped up their Legends agreements.
And now on
And
TV.
then we saw Brie at All In.
Yeah. We're never going to see them come back, I think, but it's nature's healing.
Okay,
you know?
so this brings me to something, because we could probably go on about talking about these two for ages.
Yes.
So this brings me to the next subject. Probably the last thing we're going to talk about today
Yes.
is the Royal Rumble, the greatest PLE of the year.
My favorite.
Both me and Shippy talked about it last year. We're going to talk about it again. The best pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah.
PLE / whatever the fuck you want
Shut
to call
up, fucking pay-per-view.
it. Look, I'm super excited for this year because this, and we were talking about this off air this week. I believe this is the first Rumble where Triple H is completely in charge without the stink of Vince in the background.
Yeah.
How hyped are you for this?
Super duper hyped because honestly, last year it was good for the fact that we didn't know what was going to happen. This year, it's all bets are off. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who's going to return. I don't know.
Already the men's card for the Rumble is already so stacked.
So stacked. And I can't tell you.
What have we got so far confirmed? I think we've got Punk confirmed.
Punk, Drew. Cena, Seth, Roman. I think that's it.
The 5 of the top guys.
Pretty much the list of people I said before.
Yeah, right. When was the last time we had a Rumble going in? We knew we were going to get that many top guys in there.
Yeah, never. Not for years.
Yeah, not for years, and that doesn't even go to count the surprise people that we're going to get as well. So here's my thing. I want to see an even split between Raw and SmackDown.
Yep.
I think 10 people from Raw, 10 people from SmackDown. Don't make it heavy in one way because I don't know how you feel about it, but when we get a Raw heavy, you know it's going to be going after the Raw title. When it's a SmackDown heavy, you know it's going to be going after the SmackDown title. So you can start predicting who's going to win. So 50-50 on that. But with that final 10, I want to see 5 people from NXT, 5 surprises.
Yep. I'm happy with that.
And I don't want those surprises to all be legends.
No. But we don't get legends anymore. We haven't got legends for years properly.
I tell you what, dude, there's one person that I can't wait to turn up in that Royal Rumble.
Who's that?
Say his name, and he appears.
Yes, and he will absolutely appear.
And that pop is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
The other one is Ethan Page.
Yeah.
To see Ethan Page on a main pay-per-view in WWE is going to be so fun. I love that guy, and I wish nothing but the best for him, and I can't wait for him to be on the main roster.
I want to see Joe Hendry in the ring, and then I want to hear LA Knight's music hit, and I want to get him face to face.
Yep.
Just for that electricity, that moment right there, you know?
Yep.
That's what I want.
When was the last time they were face to face? Would have been TNA?
TNA? Yeah, I reckon. Maybe. Jeez. But that's what I want. I want to see that.
I don't think Hendry's ever done an NWA run, has he?
No. Don't fact check me on that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I don't watch a hell of a lot of Billy's.
We love Billy. But at the end of the day, yeah, there's so much that can be done. We're almost at a point again where we could do 40, and it wouldn't even be a trouble. Like we could.
Hey, look, the next year's Rumble is going to be in Saudi Arabia, so chances are we're going to get
It'll
a
be
40.
40. It'll be 40. In Riyadh, it will be 40. I can almost guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Almost guarantee it.
Now, this brings me to the Women's Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we see a couple of legends from Adelaide go face to face?
Maybe it could be time. It could be time for that. That'd be sweet. It would also be really cool for Jordan Grace to be there at the same time.
In the ring at the same time.
Yes. I want to see
Absolutely
three
agree.
of them beat the shit out of each other. That's what I would like.
Yep.
That would be lovely.
And do you know what I would also do in there? I
What?
would go Jordan Grace, Dutr, Rhea Bloody Ripley. She's got the title, so she may not be in there, but I'd love to still see it. And I would also have in there Jade Cargill.
A storm is coming.
But they would need to carry Jade, but
Hey, you never know. She could be training right now. That could be why she's gone.
The muscle girls all in the ring at the same time would be amazing.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be really, really cool. Although, you're going to get a woo at some point, and Charlotte Flair's going to come out, and the whole day is going to be ruined.
Yeah, and she's going to win the Royal Rumble and go straight to WrestleMania to beat Rhea Ripley.
Her and Becky will both win the Rumble at the same time, and then they will go on to fight each other for a new belt, which is the Women's Champion of the Universe. And then they will both win.
You know what? I have no problem with that. If that keeps them out of the picture of the other belts, I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think if Becky comes back, she's going to go for those mid-card titles and elevate the mid-card girls.
I'd be really happy to see that.
Yeah, and I have no problem with that. From one thing that I get from Becky is, and this is from meeting her in person and just from what I've seen of her on the show, she's gone back to NXT and elevated people. She, by the sounds of it, she likes elevating the young people. So I wouldn't be surprised if she comes back and starts competing for those mid-card titles for that reason.
It's time to give back.
Yep.
And I do think that's the case as well. At the end of the day, Rumble is exciting, and we're at a time where it can be exciting again. And that to me is awesome because Rumble has always been above and beyond my favorite show of the year. Mm-hmm. Even to the point of being more enjoyable for me than WrestleMania. That being said, WrestleMania has been a banger. This last WrestleMania, an absolute banger.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolute banger.
Every year there's 2 weekends I take off.
Yeah.
Back when they were Monday PLEs, it was always Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. I always took off work. Mm-hmm. And now it's going to be interesting. I think I'll probably do the same thing for SummerSlam this year as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
SummerSlam being a 2-day buy one get one free extravaganza.
Yep. I'm in a situation here where when it comes to PLEs and wrestling in general in the future of it all, there's nothing I'm not stupidly excited about. Netflix has done that to me. Netflix makes me way more invested. And full credit to TKO, full credit to Mr. Levesque and all of the stuff around it. Man, it has changed the game.
Yep.
Welcome to the Netflix era isn't just a catchphrase. We have transitioned into the end game. This is the way wrestling is supposed to be presented.
Yep.
And it will get the respect it deserves because at the moment we're seeing people come out and say, hey, I started watching this. It's awesome.
Oh, I was on X this morning and I was actually watching people say, oh my God, I've watched this. This is the second week in a row I've watched Raw. I think I might be a wrestling fan.
Yep. And it's all thanks to this. It really, really is. Netflix era gets at least a 13 stars. Dave Meltzer. You're probably not going to review it very much because Kurt Angle, you still don't give him a 5-star. But at the end of the day, I think this is definitely well and above 10 stars.
Once they start hiring more New Japan guys, they'll start getting those star ratings.
Oh, no, that's not going to work. He doesn't watch this. He's too busy watching AEW. We have to cut all of this from the actual podcast. But hey, at the end of the day, I'm really, really excited for it all. I think that Penta's debut was incredibly good.
Yeah. I want to buy that mask. I've got 2 Rey Mysterio masks and I've got old mate over there as well.
I've got El Generico somewhere over there.
Have you got an El Generico?
I do, yes.
I need to get me one of those. I want Penta's mask. It was ridiculously expensive, but I think I might buy it.
It's
And do
honestly
you know what? If you do want to buy that,
a live one, live one.
a live one, you can go to www.shop.com and use our link, which should be in the bio, but probably isn't in the bio in either of these live streams, but it will be in the final podcast. And you can get yourself some amazing merch from www.shop.com.
Absolutely.
And when you do, we get a kickback. Your boys get a kickback.
We do. And then with these kickbacks, I might even be able to get one myself.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I can't stop saying at the end of the day, it's something it's a real problem for me right now. But go to WWE Shop. And that's so cool that we can even say that. Go to www.shop.com. Use our code. It's somewhere on the internet. Surely you can find it. Do I have to do everything for you?
We've got there's a link tree. It's got all the things in there.
It's fine. I'm not your dad. Might be. Probably not your dad. You can be a big boy sport. Go get the link. Go to www.shop.com. And that wasn't even words. Go to www.shop.com and get yourself a Panther shirt. Get yourself an LA Knight shirt because our boy is suffering right now. He's having a good feud with Shinsuke Nakamura, but it doesn't feel like he's going to get up.
He said he's sending the big boys from Bloodline outside for using
that was the funniest shit in the world for no reason.
Yeah. And so, that totally gave me Attitude Era vibes of just doing something for fun.
It gave me Stone Cold vibes.
Yeah.
It really did.
They were using their outside voice, so I left them out.
Yeah. Use your outside voice, so I put them outside. It's like they're dogs. And then no wonder he loses. Like, fuck me. But yeah, like I really, man, I really want to see him do more. I just don't think it's his time now. I think we got past his time. There was a time when it was his time.
Look, we've said this before and seen people come back. Here's hoping.
I'd kill to give him Cena at Mania, but they can't.
That would be amazing.
Like, it would be so good for him.
Yeah. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if they do give him Cena at some stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. I hope it's not just like Raw. I hope it's like a PLE.
It has to be a PLE. I don't think we see Cena work a random Raw.
I hear he's doing like 38 dates or something.
Yeah. We might get a few random Raws then.
That's a few random Raws, I think. Yeah. And an NXT or two. Oh, Obafemi. Go on.
Do it.
Have him murder Cena.
Yeah.
But hey, I think that's good. I think we're pretty good. We've covered over everything we want to talk about. We've really it's been a long time since we've been on stream. And for me, I did a test stream today, actually, twitch.tv/the Warship. It went really, really well. It was a sneaky one. We're going to do a proper one soon. But your boy's back in the content side of things, as you can tell by how sexy this all looks today. So, streams like this are probably going to be a lot more common, as well as legitimate just actual streams too. So right now, with what we've got going on, you check us out on Spotify, you can check us out on YouTube, you can check us out on Twitch, you can check us out on TikTok, you can check us out on Instagram. There's so many places to look at us, and
we're all over the place.
We really are at the moment, and that's good. It's not bad at all. But hey, check us on Fightful too, right?
I was just about to say, you check us out on Fightful as well now.
Which is awesome. And big thank you to our old mate SRS for that as well. But yeah, that is it for the day.
Saying that, one thing I did want to sort of say before we finish up this episode
yes, go, do it.
Is we are sponsoring the Fightful Awards this year.
We are. We are.
We are. So not only is SRS and Fightful supporting us recently, but we're going to be supporting them. So make sure you check out the Fightful Awards, which are coming up. I don't know if they've locked in a date yet, but check that out. We're going to be sponsoring one of the awards.
If they have, it'll be right here. But it probably won't be. Because that seems like a lot of work that I just don't have.
It's crazy. It's like we started this show, a year and a half ago?
Yep.
About a year and a half ago. Did you think we'd be at a point where not only are we on Fightful sponsoring stuff with Fightful, we've also sponsored a wrestling event?
Yep. WWE shop, look after us. We've been to the Elimination Chamber in the media box.
We've been guests of AEW and WWE.
We've had conversations with WWE corporate.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's been a crazy year and a half. I think it's just because we're sitting at the start of the year, and I'm a person that likes to reflect and have a look back. And yeah, it's just been an amazing year and a half so far. And I think this year in the new live era.
Yes. Welcome to the live era. I guess, look, honestly, it's all about continually pushing the goalposts a little bit further, right? So.
And look, for those of you that are watching the Twitch stream right now, we didn't promote this Twitch stream at all. So
nope.
Next week we will definitely be pumping it. This was a bit of a test run. Same on TikTok. We didn't promote that at all. We've had a heap of viewers popping in and out and not a lot of people chatting. So we're going to have to find a way of engaging those people.
Nah, it's okay. Honestly, it's like what I always did with my side of the things with streaming. If you're here just to listen to the dulcet tones, get around it. Like if that's what makes you feel good with content, do that. Most times you see a podcast on Twitch or TikTok, there's not really much communication or conversation anyway. So it is just really about hanging out and kind of listening to it, getting the vibes. And please find us on socials if you want to have a talk about it, because we love that too.
Exactly. You can find Downunder The Ring on X, DWN Under the Ring. We're at Downunder The Ring on everything else. And then you can follow The Warship. Where can they find you, bro?
Pretty much at The Warship everywhere, except for stupid X, where it's still _Warship, because that stupid person has taken it and then disappeared for the whole face of the planet. So... You can find me at _Warship there, but
you can find me on everything at Phid McAwesome.
I got my name. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening if you're doing both. And until next time, hey, we need to get credits down the bottom so we can win ourselves an Emmy. We'll see you down under the ring.